So, hello and welcome everybody. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Amit Bagga. He is the founder of Daryaganj. Amit ji, I would love if you could tell the students a little bit about you. What have you been doing? What have you been building?
Hi everyone, I'm Amit Bagga. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Daryaganj Restaurants. It's great to be here and it's great to see you. I'm very happy to see what you're doing for the kids. The first thing which I said when I went on Shark Tank was that the great thing which is happening is that all our young kids now are watching Shark Tank. So they're understanding basics about startups, entrepreneurship, and someday in the future, most of them will become entrepreneurs as well. So it's a great future for India that so many entrepreneurs are coming up in the next so many years. And India is going to be the best opportunity in the next 20 years.
Absolutely. And I'm personally vegetarian, but I know that Daryaganj is from the inventors of butter chicken and dal makhani.
Yeah.
So this is, whatever guidance you will get is from like the best of the best.
So
So
I so
yeah,
I'll talk about my journey. So I came from a family business, in a family business. My family business was into automobiles. I studied in school. So when I was about 16 years old, I used to be very passionate about hotels and restaurants always. So I used to read Economic Times newspaper that time. I used
huh,
to find every article about restaurant or hotels, cut it out, and make a scrapbook.
wow.
So one thing I would say to all the kids here, when you start reading business newspapers and business magazines, you might not understand everything, but small things will still absorb. You'll absorb a few things with time. So I must say that you must read about whatever your interest is. You must keep reading about it, or maybe specific magazines, or specific books about it, or specific top videos about it. Watch podcasts, but keep yourself informed on keep watching a lot of content, or keep reading a lot of content regarding whatever your passion is. That always helps you. The one thing was that. So then so I used to I had a passion for the restaurants that time. So when I got older, I got into my family business, but I realized this is not what I want to do. I have to follow my passion. So when I was in my early 20s, I went and started a few restaurants in Delhi. And so my ultimate passion was hotels, but hotels is a very tough thing. It's not a small investment, it's a very big investment to open a
Correct,
hotel.
correct.
So I said, okay, let's start with restaurants. So I took some loan from my father and opened a few restaurants, which honestly did very well in the first few years. And it was
So
very
which restaurants were they?
people, these restaurants were called Boombox Cafe and OTB. They were like more of bars and cafes. So maybe for about 6 years, they did very well. They were big
Wow.
successes. But one thing, after 5 6 years, they started going down. The sales started going down. Why? Because I realized that time there was a time when I had 6 7 restaurants, and then all of them had to shut down. There was quite a situation for me where that's one more lesson I would tell everyone, that never be scared of failures. Failures are a stepping stone to success. If you don't fail, you will not learn. So anyone who's successful always has failed somewhere or the other. So don't worry about that. That's what I tell everyone here. So first thing was when I failed on when all these restaurants. So when all these restaurants shut down, you can edit that part when I say when I failed. So I said, so when all of these restaurants are shutting down, so I realized I said, okay, now I need to analyze what I did wrong. So I looked back and I analyzed what all I did wrong, or what all I did not do right. So what I realized was that I was focusing too much on the bars. The bar concepts were very, more of, we didn't have a loyal clientele. So there'll be young college students or young kids who will come party. When they grow up, they will stop going there. So I realized also there's no loyalty factor in bars. So I said, okay, now I need to change the way change the model, and I want to focus on family restaurants. So today there will be a restaurant which you still will go to, which you have been going with your family. When
Yeah.
you would have gone with your parents to a restaurant, you still will go to that restaurant. When you grow older, you will still go to the restaurant with your kids. So I
Correct.
realized that what is the best segment to be is family restaurants, which is always never going to go down. And then the restaurants running for 60, 70 years, which are family restaurants, or focused on family dining. But the bars never last so long. So that was one thing I did. I changed the plan from there. Then I said,
Wow.
okay, now I'm going to focus on affordable segment. I don't want to make it too expensive. I don't want to make it too, less also. That was the one more learning. One learning was to not to do too big a restaurant, mid-size, because I was doing very big restaurants that time. Then I said, okay, now I need to focus more on us. And then also I just realized that I need to focus on properties and where there are less of issues, government issues, to be very clear on no, don't take any chances as far as regulations and government regulations are concerned. So all of these learnings I put together. Then I said, okay, now I need to do and the last learning was that I need to do a concept, the cuisine, which is the most preferred, which was North Indian. So that was the idea. So then I met my childhood friend Raghav. He was in St. Columbus school with me. He had moved to America, and this was about 6 7 years back. And Raghav and we were sitting together, and Raghav had moved to America and was working there for 20 years. So when we were talking about his grandfather's story, his grandfather invented butter chicken dal makhani, the top two dishes of the world. When we were talking about the story, I told Raghav, it's just a great story. People would love to hear this. And his grandfather was alive. I met him and I got a lot of inputs from him later as well. So I said, and Raghav also wanted the world to know about his grandfather's legacy. So that's where we thought about it. I said, okay, let's start a new restaurant brand where we will tell your grandfather's story and the legacy. Plus, we will serve authentic, old style North Indian food. And that was something which we were, I was very sure of. Well, everyone was trying to make Indian food modern and play with cuisine, but no one was doing the classics properly. So that's where the idea of Daryaganj started. And I said, okay, now I will apply all my learnings. So I made sure North Indian restaurant, I made sure it's affordable, I made sure it's not a too big a size of restaurant, I made sure that all the properties and all are very rightly, properly taken, and all these learnings I applied.
Wow.
So now one thing which I realized was I have to have a great story. And the story which I got was by the inventors of butter chicken dal makhani. That's why when we named the restaurant Daryaganj, why we named it Daryaganj was because Daryaganj is the area where butter chicken and dal makhani were invented. And that's like pizza was invented in Naples, Italy. So okay, butter chicken was invented in Daryaganj in Delhi in India. So butter chicken and dal makhani both. So I decided that okay, let's name it Daryaganj. And then I put the line together by the inventor of the butter chicken dal makhani together with the name. And that's how, and we trademarked that. So
how did you manage to get that right? That's a very big trademark.
So that became a great starting point. Anyone who would come want to hear this, see the trademark, see the brand name. Daryaganj by the inventors. How can they be inventors? Or they will say, oh, they can be inventors. Whatever it is, let's go try the food. So that happens. People come and then they try the food, and then obviously it's a pleasant surprise for them to see that the food is great. So that's was how we started Daryaganj. And then there was no looking back. We did very well, and when we came on Shark Tank as well. And so when I was starting Daryaganj, so I'll talk about if anyone here wants to start a restaurant to get into the F&B business. I'll talk about what they should be doing, and I'll also tell you examples of what I did. First thing is to understand the restaurant business is the toughest business in the world. It is the highest rate of failure. 7 out of 10 restaurants shut down in the first 2 years. So that's a high rate of failure because it's a very tough business. People think it's very easy, glamorous, but you have to work double hours. So if you have to work 8-9 hours somewhere, you might have to work 15-16 hours in this business because it opens early, it shuts late, then you have to prepare before, you have to shut down later. So it's the toughest to be. The hotel industry, to see people work such long hours. So you have to first be prepared to work double the time. You have to miss family occasions, you have to miss New Year's, there is all occasions are working. So it's very tough. And also, you only do it when you have a very strong passion for it. Because, if you have passion, sorry, you only do it if you have a very strong passion for it. But only if you have a passion for it, you will go after it. So in fact, that's the same thing. One learning I would tell everyone that, in life, it doesn't matter, what background you come from, what your age is, what your knowledge is, what your experience is, what your religion is, nothing matters, what country you're from. There are only two things which matter. You should have a passion for something, and then you should have a perseverance to make sure you see it through. So this passion and perseverance combination is called grit, G-R-I-T, grit. And there's been surveys, there's been studies by Stanford University that what really matters for anyone to be successful is only grit. It doesn't matter what anything you think might be an advantage is not an advantage. The only thing which can make you see you through is grit. And that's what I tell today's generation, everyone, that don't give up also. First you have to realize and identify this is my passion. Well, if it's your passion, then only then you will put double the time or put the triple the time into it. If it's not your passion, if you're doing it for money, you will never put your extra time into it. You'll end up saying, okay, I can't do it anymore. You will give up sometime. But you will not give up only if you have a passion for it. And then you should have that perseverance. I have to make sure I make this happen and keep going after it. You might fail a lot of times, but then you will succeed in the end. But if you go after it, that's one strong lesson I would like to give to all the viewers here. And coming back to the restaurant industry. So when I was, like I said, so you have to have a passion for it for sure. And then it's a very high capital intensive business as well. A lot of people think today, oh, I can start from a small cloud kitchen. Never do that. It looks very easy, but cloud kitchen is the toughest business to operate because there is no walk-in crowd. In a shop you open, people will still walk in and see you. In a cloud kitchen, there's like you don't have any business ready because you have to generate everything online. And there are high margins. So there are very low margins. There's high commissions. The margins are very, very low. So if you don't operate on a scale, if you don't operate 10, 20 kitchen or actually a restaurant brand and a combination of restaurants and cloud kitchens, you'll never be profitable. Very tough to be profitable. Very exceptional cases happen where you become profitable only with a cloud kitchen. And there's that also only 1 or 2. So that's one thing. Never think that ways. So you have to be very, very clear that it's very tough business to get it. Capital intensive as well. So coming back here. So now when I talk now generally about what is a major factor, which made us successful also. And I think what is the reason why I feel we get the success we get. Or what is the reason why we got the success we got. So So when you have to first of all focus on the customer. In fact, this is valid for any business. If you are customer focused, customer obsessed, that is when you will be successful. Like Amazon, they say we are customer
Yeah,
obsessed, they're the
yeah.
biggest in the world. So you have to be customer obsessed. Customer experience should be something which you should be really, really obsessed about. So when I was thinking of starting the Daryaganj brand, I said, okay, from a customer's perspective, I have to think what all is he going to experience in my restaurant. So how did I decode that? So when whatever a person feels when he goes to a restaurant is through his five senses. So I said, okay, now let me break it down and think from every sense point of view. Okay, what is he going to experience and how am I going to give the best experience? First was sense of sight. When you enter the interiors, so I want the lighting to be nice, dim. This should be a brick wall which gives a nice warmth to the restaurant. There should be a lot of wood around the restaurant. The whole look and feel should also have some retro elements to show the brand theme. All of these together, the colors, the brand colors which are showing, the whole look and feel of the place was the sense of sight. Then whatever the food was being presented in, the way it's presented in, that's also sense of sight.
True.
Then second was sense of your sense of touch. So when you sit down, people enter the table, enter the restaurant, they sit down on the table, whatever the touch, whatever the bowls they feel, everything is a part of the experience. Touch is also how the people in the servers or in the restaurant are talking to you, the guest. But that is also personal touch, human touch. All of these things which were touch wise. So they would touch contemporary dishes, contemporary plates as well. There'll be old style, brass bowls as well. So they're seeing that we are contemporary and we are traditional as well at the same time. And everything, from the furniture, the kind of quality of the cloth of the furniture, what they will feel is also part of the brand experience. So everything was thought about from the touch point of view. Then comes sense of hearing. So when you enter a restaurant, you will hear a playlist, and that playlist is a mix of songs. It's a playlist which I've developed, which are songs sung by like young artists, new artists, but the songs are old and they are all soulful. So if a young generation comes, they will identify with the music and the voice. The older generation comes, they identify with the lyrics and the songs. So that was sense of sound. So I made sure that exact playlist was created accordingly. A lot of thousands of songs we went through and finalized that.
Wow, that's really obsessed.
Yes. And then the next sense was your sense of smell. So I said, okay, I have to develop a signature fragrance in my restaurant, which is where anyone enters, they will say, okay, now I'm in Daryaganj. So I went through a lot of notes. So there was and finally after thousands, maybe not thousands, I would say hundreds of trials, I would say finally we decided this is the fragrance we will keep. The fragrance was a mix of two notes. One was a Indian Nargisi flower, one was a contemporary note, and mixed together, then became the signature Daryaganj fragrance. So the same fragrance you will feel everywhere you go, any restaurant. Then the most important fifth one was sense of taste. That was the food. So that's where we focused most on. And the food was all made with the freshest ingredients, purest of ingredients, and made with the least of processed foods. Like we would like to, not want to put too much of packet of creams or put too much of spices for no reason. Keep the food very simple, fresh, and the way it was cooked in the 1940s and 50s. And that really became our biggest USP. So this was my whole five senses decoding, which I applied when I developed the brand. So in fact, restaurant businesses and hotel business is the only segment in retail where you can touch all five senses. So other businesses, you might not be able to touch the sense of taste. Everything else you touch. So any retail business you do, the other four senses you should be very carefully looking at. And the fifth is obviously the sense of taste. So you can always give a welcome drink to your guest as well if you're not in a restaurant business. But obviously, restaurant business, hotel business, you have a option to, cater to the sense of taste. So this is, I think, the crux of what a customer experience is going to be. In fact, we have a thing called the five senses checklist. My team every morning comes and goes through a checklist. Okay, for sense of sight, these are the points have to be done. These have to be done. So every day we make sure whatever the customer is going to experience is properly in place. So that is what I feel my biggest learning is, that a restaurant or retail business is all about customer experience, and you have to think and decode that customer experience through the five senses. And in fact, we also did something interesting during COVID time. I created a five senses delivery box. So we apply the same five senses into delivery as well. We'll talk about that later some other day. So this was one of our major reasons for being successful, that we are focused on the customer.
Yeah, that's such an amazing thought. If I would have gone just as a customer, subconsciously all this would happen and made me feel like, wow, this is such a good restaurant. But
exactly,
I would
you rightly said the right thing. Because when you go to a restaurant, consciously you're trying the food, but subconsciously everything around you is a part of the experience.
Exactly. But usually people don't think about that. People like, I'll make good food and that's it. But I was so mesmerized when you were talking. मतलब सच्ची में मुझे इधर goosebumps अभी भी है. And like I was like, कि, यार कैसे wow. So, but honestly, thank you so much for giving your most valuable insights, which is your knowledge and your time, to in Bachcho Ko. I hope that everyone out here is who's listening to this and who's learning from you will go back and implement the five senses and the customer experience. So,
I hope so, and I'm telling all the kids here. I'm on LinkedIn. My name Amit Bagga. My ID is Amit Bagga. My name is Amit Bagga. Go on LinkedIn. Any help you need for your business, any advice, just straight away write to me. I will be happy to help you. In fact, I have two sons. One, my oldest son is Arivir, and younger one is Arman. And the older one is 10 years old, Arivir. He wants to start a startup. He's already giving me, sending me ideas. So happy to see that our young generation is thinking of startups now. And happy to help anyone here. Whoever wants to get into the restaurant business or anything, any other help they require, just write to me on LinkedIn and I'll be there to help you.
wow. So I will add the link in the description also. And I hope that you all can get some really, really great advice. One last thing, if you would like to say to the next generation that's going to come forward in this sector, what
Right.
is it? Any one message that they should, just.
So I'll tell you one thing, there was a time everyone in India wanted to go out and work abroad or study abroad. Oh, there are more opportunities in America, this country. Today, it's the other way around. People from all over the world are wanting to come to India. So all of you here are so lucky that you are in a time and a place that now next 20 years, India is going to boom. China population is degrowing. India population already gone above China. There are negatives of having a high population, but there are positives as well. What is happening is that India now, 50% of India's population is below 30 years old. And the next 20 years, India will have the biggest workforce and the biggest consumers also. So whatever you're going to do is going to grow like whichever industry you want to get into can grow to another level in the next 20 years. So next 20 years, India will become a superpower. So you are at the right place at the right time. You just have to do the right thing and properly do it. I'm sure that your chances will be much higher for success. So don't look around anywhere in the world. You are in the right place right now. India has got all the opportunities for you. And whatever you do, like I said, my only thing to you is whatever you do in life or whatever you want to do in any startup, don't do it just for money. If you do it for money, you will never succeed because money is a byproduct of the right effort put in. It's not that money will just come in. So you have to be passionate. You have to have that grit, a mix of passion and perseverance. Go after your goals. Even if you keep failing years and years, doesn't matter. Keep going for your goals. I did not succeed immediately. It took me 10 years to finally get it right. So don't worry about it. Put your best foot forward and obviously keep all your integrity. Never take the wrong path. And in the end, success will be yours. That's all I would say. And best of luck.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much.